Now, days after handing Pakistan a 1 billion bailout to Pakistan, the International Monetary Fund has imposed 11 new conditions for the release of the next tranche, tightening the screws on Islamabad's fragile economy. Now, key demands include passing a 17.6 trillion federal budget, reforming the agriculture, income taxes, adjusting electricity and gas tariffs, and phasing out incentives for special technology zones. Additional mandates require governance reforms, inflation-linked cash transfer adjustments, used car import regulations, and publishing a long-term financial sector strategy post-2027. The key deadline ranges from May 2025 to 2035, with sweeping overhauls across governance, finance, trade, and power sectors. Now, the condition also pushes Pakistan to improve transparency, enhance taxpayer compliance, and shift industrial energy use to the national grid. Non-compliance would put critical financial assistance at risk. Now, the IMF staff level report released on Saturday flagged growing concerns with regard to India-Pakistan tensions as a significant external risk to IMF's programs in Pakistan. If hostilities worsen, it warned the fiscal and reform targets would be derailed. Despite the military flare-ups, market reaction in Pakistan has been limited. The stock market held steady and spreads widened only moderately. Now, this is the 24th time that Pakistan has indeed taken a bailout since 1958. Now, with tough timelines and unpopular reforms ahead, Pakistan now faces a steep climb out of its economic woes. We are also joined in by Ambassador Jain Das Gupta, former ambassador to the WTO. Ambassador, the big question is a long list of conditions, but can Pakistan comply?
There are several issues on which Pakistan may find it difficult to comply within the time frame that has been laid down by the IMF. Some of these issues, of course, are, on the other hand, not quite difficult to comply with. For instance, the used car regulation. Pakistan at the moment allows used cars to be imported. But I think the IMF has said that used cars with only 3 years usage, they should be allowed, not with a longer usage abroad. So this is to encourage perhaps the car industry in Pakistan to step up its production. The other problems related to implementation are this power tariff and gas tariff, because these have been highlighted by the IMF right from the beginning, because the power entities in Pakistan are not very efficient, and the charges to the consumers are heavily subsidized by the government. So the IMF has been consistently saying that power tariffs should be passed on to the consumers, and efficiency at the same time should be improved in the power generation and distribution entities. And similarly with the gas distribution entity. So this is a tough task, because Pakistan has raised in the past, since getting the approval for the $7 billion package from the IMF, it has raised power charges to consumers. But to make it fully compliant with the IMF directions may cause a lot of hardship to the consumer, especially the domestic household consumers. So that is a concern, and that may, in fact, Pakistan may go up to the IMF and try to negotiate a longer phase-in period for that. Similarly, the case with agricultural income tax, which the IMF has laid down, that is also something which the IMF has been stressing right from the beginning, because Pakistan has very large land holdings in several of its provinces, and they don't pay any taxes at all. So that is something which the IMF has been stressing, along with the enlargement of the widening of the tax base, because Pakistan has one of the smallest tax bases for income tax in the developing world. So that is another thing which the IMF has flagged time and time again. With these 11 conditions, the total number of conditions perhaps goes up to about 50, which are associated with the IMF bailout package, some of which were laid down earlier since the beginning, and 11 have been added now.
Well, Ambassador, another aspect of this entire issue when it comes is the park economy. Now, is this enough to jumpstart the park economy? Because we know that this economy has a major hidden component, that is the number of sectors that that army controls.
That's right. It is understood that the Pakistan army runs everything from beauty salons to bakeries making, cakes and pastries and bread. And of course, the Fauji Foundation is a kind of a real estate promoter and builder. And it allots land and flats and commercial complexes to parts of commercial complexes to business entities and individuals. So Pakistan Army, especially the officers, I think, there is an allegation against them that they do everything but fighting. And of course, the terror networks that they have spawned, they do the fighting on their behalf, but they are more interested in making money, and from which they benefit hugely from the commercial enterprises run indirectly or directly by the Pakistan Army. So that is a problem which Pakistan has to contend with. As far as the broader question of macroeconomic stability is concerned, now Pakistan has had, I think, since 1989, if my information is correct, Pakistan has about 28 different tranches of bailout or assistance packages. And in the past 5 years, there have been 4. So, if Pakistan keeps diverting the loan that it takes from the IMF into non-productive streams like the terror networks and other things, and the Pakistan army indulges in self-aggrandizement, then obviously macroeconomic stability will not figure very high up on their list of priorities. So it is for Pakistan, its internal matter to decide which is the best way to utilize this loan package, because ultimately the people have to pay the loan as well as the
Next
interest
question,
component.
can the Shehbaz Sharif government, do they have the will to actually push these bitter pill reforms onto the people? Because it's very easy to become unpopular with it.
That's right. And that is why I think the IMF has specifically laid down that the 17.6 trillion Pakistani rupee budget has to be passed by its National Assembly. Now, there are dissenting voices which have started to get raised in terms of the way things are conducted in Pakistan, which includes, of course, the large overhang that the army has over national policies. And it is not only related to external affairs and the military, but all aspects of the economy. So I think by insisting that it should be passed by the National Assembly, the IMF is trying to say that let it have an all-party consensus and let voices against the budget allocation, etc., because the IMF is not micromanaging the budget components. Because I think the revised budget, which has been prepared, also calls for a 12% increase in the army budget or the armed forces budget. So all said, these will come up for discussion by June, and the voices which are not in sync with the ruling government of the day will have to be heard.